Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Good Morning Hospitality. My lovely co-host, Brandy Canaley, and the wonderful founder of Breezeway, Jeremy Gall. Welcome to the show. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Thanks for letting us record at your booth and kind of take over. It's
I
been
know.
amazing.
It's great. It's great to have you. It's exciting.
Everyone's looking at us funny. They're like taking pictures and walking by in front of cameras. It's really great. Like, it's been so much fun.
I
Are
know
you-
it's a little interesting because I'm hoping that it gets picked up
Yeah.
because there's a lot of noise in here.
Oh, it is getting picked up. We have a great editing team. It's going to clear all of this up. Speaking of like being picked up, what are you guys seeing being picked up in the industry as you're talking to customers today that are coming to the Breezeway booth? Obviously, there's a ton of conversations around quality versus quantity, but like, what's the number one thing being picked up as a main topic in the industry right now?
Yeah, I think people are looking at how they can make their technology work a little better for them.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a lot of interest with folks like, how do we consolidate our tech stack a little bit, simplify it, get a little more out of it?
Yeah.
Because they understand how important technology is to delivering on the guest experience.
Yeah, I can relate to that when you're like, okay, I have all these products, but do I really need all of them? Am I not using everything? And I think that like as a Breezeway customer, like sometimes we'll be like just discovering new parts of the system. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even know that we could do this. And so you guys have such a robust system that I think operators, if they're looking to kind of standardize things and really use their products to like their full potential, you guys really offer a way to kind of keep a lot of departments in one system.
It's true, but it is that happens a lot. I talk to people here, clients, and they say like, "Oh, so what's new?" And so I say something that we do, and they're like, "Oh, wow, like I didn't even know you do that. Like we really need to dig in." So
Well, shout out to Robin Cragen, Moving Mountains. My favorite quote, I probably say it every episode, is people 20 buck themselves to death, right? Where they buy a new software because it's a shiny toy, yet they're not fully utilizing their current stack to its fullest potential. Do you guys see a lot of Breezeway clients or customers coming in and like what Brandy said? I didn't know this was here. I can't believe I didn't know this. And now I'm going to go like use it and like maybe cut another piece of technology I don't need.
100%. And yeah, on one hand, it's like a little disappointing that they don't know we already do it, but it's exciting because their face lights up and they're like, "Oh, that's great. Like I want to do that too." I was talking to Robin last night and it was really interesting. He's at a panel maybe right now.
Yeah.
Talking about the future of technology and AI and sort of like his take was like, we shouldn't be talking about AI. We should be talking about like all the other little things that we still aren't doing well, that we can really do such a better job at before we even get to that.
That's huge. And not to steal the thunder really quick, but when it comes to AI, we were just talking to Annie, who is using your guys' Assist product, right? And so that's a human-based service and product that you guys have built in. Why did you go human-based? Why not go the AI route, fully potential with the Assist product?
Well, because I think with your guests, this is like, we're in the hospitality business and you can try to automate and sort of streamline a bunch of your operation. But in the end, you really need a human touch. And I think it's not something you want to risk just yet with not having a human answer those questions. And so the way that we think about it is like in your Breezeway account, there's so much property data, there's reservation data, there's guest data. So there's everything available to help answer that question. And AI can help surface that information, but having a human do it, I think is really powerful.
Yeah, I think that one of the components that, AI can be useful for instead of this, everybody has the focus on like the chat bots and that response, but it's also kind of synthesizing all of your data. I think that for me is the more interesting part. Like in Breezeway, there's so much operational data and you can have great reports, but how do you extrapolate more things out of that? And I think that's actually where AI can be more creative and like helpful to the business is giving you all these different slices of the business and helping you make better decisions about running the company. That's actually where we've built out from our PMS a big revenue dashboard, commercial dashboard, and our next project is to do the same thing and take all our Breezeway data, and so we can just like play with it. So we're really excited about that.
Oh, it's amazing. And then when you marry the two together,
Yeah,
it's going to be so powerful.
yeah,
I think this is an industry that's copied a lot of hotel revenue management, but it's different, right?
Yeah.
Like here, the expense side of how you treat every different property when the properties are unique, when the owners have different motivations, it's really thinking about profitability and how you manage and marry that revenue data and the
Yeah.
operations data. I think it's really cool.
Yeah, and I think with operations data, there are so many things like you might not think that if you have a couple hours of overtime or you're paying a little bit too much for this product that it doesn't matter too much. But if you have the data, you can see that all of these things are adding up over time. It should take 1 hour to clean this property, but in the last month, it's been taking them 2 hours. Like what's causing it allows you to kind of catch these things that can snowball into really big problems before they become big problems. So that's why I love it.
Yeah, I think there's some that's one of the reasons why we're excited about the Airbnb reviews that we pull in.
Oh, yeah, we are also really excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's really powerful. It's like, this is the first step in what we want to try and do to say, like, okay, the byproduct of really good operations is delivering to the guests
Yeah.
and having a great guest experience. And like, how do you measure that? It's all about the reviews and what you get and the scores that you get from guests, from
Yeah.
internal scores and external reviews, and then tying that back to your operations, understanding where you could be stressed.
Yeah.
Like, are you doing too many back-to-backs? Did you not staff up enough to handle those back-to-backs? And seeing where you could you're going to get dinged for that and who the best people are, trying to figure out and look at that operational data. I'm pretty excited about this,
Yeah.
what we can do next here, where you can think about like, who are my best people?
Yeah.
Who does it best? Who does it effectively? Who does it fast? How much am I paying them? Like, what's their utilization? So I can really understand where my opportunities in the business are.
Well, I also think, especially when you're dealing with the human side of things, there's always an excuse. There's always a reason for why things are or not happening. But if you can come back with like all the data, it's like the data, the facts are the facts. And you're like, so you can really make, all the anecdotes aren't clouding your judgment. And so we've talked about the Airbnb reviews and Breezeway Assist. Are there any other fun things that you guys have coming up that you can talk about?
Yeah, we're pretty excited. We're doing a whole bunch of stuff. I think we've got all the sort of pillars of our operations platform sort of laid out now. And now there's some really interesting things we're doing to tie it together. Like, I'm excited about the next layer of scheduling that we can add in, where like we can really start to look at where your properties are, how you're thinking about staffing them, where you might be over, stressing one of your best teams, or who's getting too many jobs, who isn't getting so many jobs. I think many of our clients are still leaning on their director of operations to do a lot of that scheduling with our tools. By continuing to invest in that, there's a lot more we can do. So we're really excited about that.
I'm very excited about that. I've talked with Andrew and your product team about doing like capacity-based scheduling, because we've created like our own kind of calculator that we can then kind of feed into Breezeway. So I'm happy to beta test anything,
Yes.
throw that my way. Very excited about that.
Yeah, I think that one's really cool. We had like an early version of like user availability and user capacity, and it was okay. But now that we've really added more to the auto scheduling and the way that can happen, we think we can really supercharge that. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about payments, which won't be applicable to all of our clients, but we know that there are a lot of managers who work with external service providers, and a number of them, and getting invoices and then paying your people and getting that turned into an invoice where you can pay people quickly and keep track of it can be really painful. So that's coming out in the next 2 months, which is pretty exciting. And then a few other things. So we'll keep
TBD.
TBD, yeah.
Back on in the future. Not to bring it back to the data really quick. I heard you were on the data or STR data lab with Jamie Lane with AirDNA. And so when it comes to data overall, I think it's underestimated on how, I think we all have data at our fingertips, but we never have really know how to use it. So when it comes to kind of like that episode that you were talking with Jamie, can you give us any sneak peeks, any little data nuggets for all the data nerds out there?
Yeah, I think one of the things we talked about was about quality and sort of how you measure that. We talked about Airbnb reviews and sort of like not just Airbnb reviews, but internal ratings and how you can use that operationally. And we did touch on this theme of like profitability and like using operational data to understand who are the really good owners, what are the bright spots in your inventory, where are the areas you really need to work on, and then using data to help you manage those conversations, because it's not easy with owners.
No, and that's the operations is obviously like the biggest cost center usually of the business. And so having clear data on that is so important. Like you can correct one little mistake and save tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars over the course of a year. So having really clear insights into that part of the business is so important. And I think it's the part that's the most convoluted sometimes. So having a system that really kind of separates and helps you make sense of everything is amazing.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. I think also, leaning in on each property and then we're probably going to head deeper and deeper into the guest experience, upsells, and like how you can leverage data at the best time to like
Yeah.
send those offers to people. I think that's really interesting
Yeah.
too.
Well, again, any beta testing, you know who to call.
You're on. We're
Yeah.
going to take you up on it.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We love having you on, and thank you for letting us commandeer your booth for a little bit.
I love it. Thanks for having me. It's
Yeah.
great. Thank you.